There's a funny thing about depression. Once you think you're over it, you realize you're not. In the past 4 or 5 months, I have isolated myself from my family and friends. Unless I'm at work or at the doctor's appointment, I can count on my hand the number of times I've left the house. I never thought I would be that person. I'm extremely full of life, like to be places and do things, and I'm all about experiences. And I found myself, since my divorce, becoming someone who I never thought was a part of myself. Not thinking it's really not the divorce, really. I think that caused that so much is just everything that has happened over the past 10 years, which I have spoken a little bit about, but haven't really gone in depth or dug deep into myself to repair. So when I found myself crawling out of the depression, I was doing really well for maybe a week, and crawl back in, crawl back out, crawl back in. That's difficult to do because when you think that you are improving, you realize that it's temporary, and then again you find yourself not able to get out of bed. Now, I do have excuses for not getting out of bed. I do have chronic physical pain every day, but that didn't stop me in the past. I've handled what cancer has taken from me physically extremely well. Not having a breast, having lost hair, weight fluctuation, doctor's appointments, extreme financial distress, really well. And I thought psychologically really well as well. But I got to a point where I just was not me anymore. And people who loved me started noticing. And I wasn't so much expecting them to reach out, but I do feel a great, enormous amount of guilt for not reaching out to them. And everybody needs mental health days. It seemed like I needed a mental health season the entire fall of 2024. And I've realized now that having a disease has robbed an enormous amount of my life. I willingly took 3 months out of my life for no reason. I had the control to get up out of bed, and I didn't. I had the physical ability to drive places, and I found myself afraid to walk out the front door. I can't do that anymore. I found myself making promises I couldn't keep, and I've never done that. It's never, ever been me at all. And it's been very isolating and lonely. But I wanted to make this video not really to apologize or make excuses, but to honestly explain why I've been away and how my life has withered. It is also completely rising up again, starting from scratch. And I know I've talked about that before. And though it's sad that I've lost so much of my life in the hospital or at appointments, those are things that I didn't have control over, but my mind wasn't allowing me to control myself to get out of bed. Even taking my medication, my Wellbutrin, which is something that saved my life in the beginning, nothing was working. Being happy, having healthy relationships, nothing was working. So I finally decided that even though it's hard, I have to take the initiative to be the first one to make the first move if I want things in my life to change. YouTube was always very special because I was able to reach people who were going through similar things. Found myself with like overnight, over 1,030 subscribers, and seeing that drop is sad. However, it was never about the money or the publicity or the fame. It was nice having people who wanted to hear what I had to say and wanted to know that they weren't alone, or who had been following me for a few years and just, I've abandoned everybody, including myself. And that's the saddest part. So I'm here today without making promises, knowing that I do want to continue to post, that I don't want my life to be how it was. I want myself to be me, but a better version. And it took lying in bed feeling bored and betrayed and lost to realize that. I have a lot more to my story and life that needs to occur, and I'm ready for that to happen. So I would like you all to stay, because those of you who have been there throughout my journey, or even just since April when I was diagnosed with breast cancer, it's just how life is. It isn't like this. It really is like this. And most of you know that. It's hard to accept for me, and still hard to believe. It is a surreal feeling knowing, but I'm not angry at the things that have happened as much as I am angry at myself for allowing myself to behave in the manner that I have because of it. So I need to forgive myself, and I'm working on that in order to move on and move forward. So I'm being honest and open with all of you here today, letting you know that depression is a silent enemy, and it can happen to anybody. And even the most people with the most optimism, and everybody who knows me well knows that I handle the hard stuff very well. You give me a terminal illness, no big deal. But you ask me to check the mail, it's like the end of the world. And I'm trying to find a gray area between both, because I can do the hard things, I should be able to do the easy things. So that's going to be my first step. I will say I've kept myself clean. I've showered. I haven't been that bad, but I hope that this is the last time, because it has been a long time, too long, where I've abandoned my life. Not just survival, but living, and I don't want to do that anymore. So I'm back to tell you hi, and I'm sorry. And I know people don't care as much as you think they do, and I know that you guys are probably like, she's so ridiculous apologizing, but I am sorry, and I am trying. And it's still hard learning to live in this body, but I am doing my best, and I do have support, and I do have people who love me, and I won't abandon them anymore, because that just isn't who I am. And I have to relearn that too. So thank you for watching this video. Stay if you want to. I'd love you to, but you don't have to. We all have free will. The last thing I just want to leave you with is just knowing that life is short. We can't take back time that we've lost. And I can't take back the time that I've stolen from myself, or the times that have occurred that have been out of my control that I wish that I could take back. So today, I'm becoming something else. And I hope that this gives anybody who is or who can relate to this hope that you aren't alone and that it can happen to you. And I hope that, like me, you can crawl your way out of it too, without it ruining your pride, because pride doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's just priorities, who you love, what you love. I left my piano when I left my divorce, and I haven't made music, but I got a keyboard for Christmas, and I have creative outlets again. I'm starting to paint again, and the little things really are bigger than you think, as far as happiness goes. So it's almost like relearning to walk. But again, if I can handle what I've been through, I can handle this. Thank you guys. And I hope to see you again.